Hello and welcome to We the People. As I speak here today, I'm sitting in the world's most polluted city. There is no dispute over the fact that we're all dying from the air that we breathe in the national capital of Delhi. But the statistics still bear some repetition. India has the world's highest rate of death from respiratory diseases. Delhi's pollution is much higher than that of Beijing. But here's the statistic that should really get you if you're a parent. Nearly half of Delhi's school children are never going to recover full lung capacity at this rate of air pollution. Air pollution is the fifth leading cause of death in India. Children in Delhi have the lungs of chain smokers, and air pollution is in the group number 1 of carcinogens as listed by the World Health Organization. Yet when a government finally decides to do something about it, with the Kejriwal-led Aam Aadmi Party government in Delhi proposing an innovative odd-even formula that will keep almost 10 lakh cars off the road every day, there are whines and arguments and complaints and cribbing, almost as if we don't even realize the danger that we're living with, the air that we're breathing, killing us every single day. This is especially important when you consider the fact that only 10% of Delhi actually drives to work in a car or a van, and right now the odd-even car formula only applies to cars. And yet, and we don't know if it will be expanded to two-wheelers. We don't know that yet. But at the moment, what we know is that it might only apply to cars. So is the grumbling only elitist? And how long are we going to continue to be in denial? We have a very special panel today, but first I want to introduce Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia, who has come here to take all of your questions, and we really appreciate I really appreciate the fact that politicians are coming here to interact directly with the citizenry. We don't see enough of that, so thank you, Manish. And of course, Sambit from across the aisle in the BJP is with us. We've got a whole range of other special panelists as well. Sunita Narayan's just back from the climate change negotiations in Paris. And we'll be talking to lots of people, especially parents. But Manish, I want to start with you. बहुत सवाल है लोगों के मन में. लोग कहते हैं ये कैसे चलेगा, पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्टेशन है नहीं, मेट्रोज आर ऑलरेडी ओवरलोडेड, बसेस में जगह नहीं है. चलिए आपका फॉर्मूला एक्सेप्ट भी कर ले, वी ऑल एक्सेप्ट द डेंजर, but should you have prepared the ground better? Should you have first addressed public transportation? Should you have first addressed metro capacity? Should you have first addressed concerns of safety of women? I personally have to say that I totally support this formula because I think something needs to be done. लेकिन लोगों के मन में ये सवाल है. How do you address them?
बिल्कुल जायज सवाल है लोगों के मन में, बट वी हैव टू रियलाइज दैट इट्स एन इमरजेंसी, इट्स ए वॉर सिचुएशन, एंड वी हैव टू, इट इज बिकॉज द काइंड ऑफ पिक्चर्स वी आर गेटिंग. आपने देखा होगा कल
लंग्स का कंपैरिजन, in fact we can bring it up, we can bring it up in the plasma and we'll let the audience.
वो अगर देख के हमको नहीं लगता कि इट्स एन इमरजेंसी एंड इट्स ए वॉर सिचुएशन,
there Manish, you can see that on your screen.
सो अगर राइट साइड की पिक्चर आपके अंदर एक डर पैदा नहीं करती कि वेयर आर वी लिविंग, so
that's the comparison.
मतलब फिर आप अपने comfort zone.
एक second, just to explain to our audience, that's Dr. Trehan's image. He's compared the lung of a 55-year-old man in Delhi with a 55-year-old man in Himachal Pradesh to show the difference.
अगर ये पिक्चर देख के दिल्ली के रहने वाले लोगों के मन में ये नहीं पैदा होता कि अब हमको इट्स हाई टाइम कि अब हमें कोई एक्शन लेना पड़ेगा. ऑफ कोर्स हम सिर्फ अपने कंफर्ट जोन में खड़े रहें और कहें नहीं साहब हमारे कंफर्ट जोन में कुछ नहीं होना चाहिए, बाकी कुछ ठीक कर लो. आई कंप्लीटली एग्री कि पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट सिस्टम बहुत मैस है, उसको ठीक करने की जरूरत है, बट वो 4 दिन में ठीक नहीं होगा. 1 साल हम नई बसेस भी ला रहे हैं हमने. और दूसरी एक चीज मैं कहता हूं कि व्हेन आई से कि दिल्ली को पॉल्यूशन फ्री बनाना है, ऑड इवन फॉर्मूला इज वन ऑफ द स्टेप्स, इट्स नॉट द अल्टीमेट स्टेप. सो वी आर डूइंग, हमने लीफ बर्निंग बंद की, और आज हमने फैसला किया है, अभी 4 दिन पहले फैसला किया है कि जिस डिपार्टमेंट के पार्क में, खुले पार्क में लीफ बर्निंग हो रही होगी, उस डिपार्टमेंट के चीफ ऑफिसर, चाहे वो दिल्ली सरकार का हो, डीडीए का हो, उसको पर्सनली फाइन किया जाएगा.
But if you're serious about this formula,
पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट ठीक कर रहे हैं, बहुत सारी चीजें ठीक कर रहे हैं, जिनमें से ऑड इवन फॉर्मूला एक चीज है उसमें.
लेकिन अगर आप इस फॉर्मूला के बारे में सीरियस हैं तो ये सिर्फ 15 दिन ट्रायल पीरियड क्यों है? क्योंकि लोगों के मन में एक सिनिसिज्म है कि आप 15 दिन ट्राई करेंगे, 15 दिन में दिल्ली के लोग कहेंगे अरे हमसे हुआ नहीं, हमें बस में जगह नहीं मिली, मेट्रो में जगह नहीं मिली, हमारी ये प्रॉब्लम हुआ, वो प्रॉब्लम हुआ, एंड देन वी आर बैक टू स्क्वायर वन.
देखिए ये ऑड इवन फार्मूला दुनिया के
Is
बहुत
it
सारे
here to stay? Is it here to stay or is it only a trial experiment?
If you ask me कि is it going to continue after 15th on 16th also?
Yes.
No. As of today,
No.
not on 16 January.
Okay.
But वो 15 दिन बाद वापस आएगा, 1 महीने बाद वापस आएगा, कुछ और तैयारियों के साथ वापस आएगा. I'll say yes. आएगा. We have to do these experiments. अलग-अलग शहरों ने जो किया है दुनिया में उनसे हमें सीखना है. प्लस हमें दिल्ली से करके सीखना है. दिल्ली का पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट सिस्टम, दिल्ली के लोगों की आदतें, दिल्ली के लोगों का अपना कंफर्ट जोन, उस सब के हिसाब से फिर दिल्ली के लोगों को धीरे धीरे साथ लेके चलना. लाइक यू सेड इन द बिगनिंग, आज की तारीख में हम जहां पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट पे खड़े हैं, कल को हम दिल्ली में आधी बाइक्स बंद कर दें, हमारा सारा पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट सिस्टम इससे बहुत बुरी स्थिति में आ जाएगा. दिल्ली इज नॉट रेडी टू कोप अप विद दोज बाइकर्स who immediately can come to the car.
So does this odd even only apply to cars right now? Because I was
पहले-
hearing Sunita,
पहले
मैंने
trial
cars
में-
बोला, Sunita was disagreeing with me. I just want a clarification.
I mean,
पहले ट्रायल
मैंने अभी तक दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट का पूरा प्लान नहीं देखा है, मगर पूरी दुनिया में जहां पर भी ऐसा ऑड इवन हुआ है, वहां पर 3 चीजें होती हैं जो मनीष जी मुझे लगता है ध्यान में रखेंगे, क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट सीरियस है इस चीज को लेके. एक तो सब व्हीकल, सब प्राइवेट व्हीकल्स पे होता है, स्कूटर, टू व्हीलर, क्योंकि अगर आप प्रदूषण का अगर आप आंकड़े देखें तो 50% जो प्रदूषण है ट्रांसपोर्ट सेक्टर से, जो सबसे ज्यादा कंट्रीब्यूशन है वो टू व्हीलर से है, फिर गाड़ियों से और ट्रक से है. 3 मेजर
But Sunita, the reason I said cars is, as far as I know, and Manish, you can clarify this and then I'll open it up for discussion. At the moment, this is applicable only to private cars, right?
But can I just finish the point I'm making? Because there are 2 or 3 things that we have to. The fact is, Barkha, we need a serious experiment done. We also don't need an experiment that is half-hearted, which is not really serious. To do it seriously, we need 3 things done. We need all private vehicles, 2-wheelers and cars, for this to apply to, number 1. 2, we need not 8 to 10, we need 5 to 10, because nowhere in the world is it done 8 to 6 or 8 to 8 as you are planning. And third, we will also need to make sure that we can have very good implementation and no exceptions, Manish. So this whole thing that the government is doing ki, or because of women's safety, women nahi hoga or ye nahi, no exceptions. It's 15 days. Barkha has made a very important statement. It is emergency. And the 4th thing, just last thing, you're absolutely right. This is never done in long term. No city does it for month after month. They do it for emergency purposes.
But I'm hearing you say no exemptions for women, no
I
exemption
am saying,
on Sundays.
can I just say, Barkha, governance of this is going to be impossible to do. Governance is only possible if you know what is black and what is white.
Okay, I'm
the
going to-
more exemptions, the less you
Manish,
will be able
please,
to
आप इसको पूरा
implement it.
करें. Sunita is actually taking the radical view कि कोई exemptions ना करें. But there
मैं
are
कह रही हूँ सीरियसली करो. मैं दूसरी चीज
but
कह
then
रही हूँ.
औरतें हैं जो कहती हैं हम 8 बजे के बाद हमें वापस जाना है. We don't feel safe. There are practical questions arising from the
10
citizens
बजे
of
के
Delhi.
बाद जाओ.
बरखा, पूरे दुनिया में जैसा मैं बोल रहा था कि बहुत अलग अलग तरीके से लोगों ने एक्सपेरिमेंट किया और उन्होंने फिर अपने हिसाब से उस पूरे आइडिया को मोल्ड किया होगा.
Yes.
पहली बार जो किया होगा हो सकता है दूसरी बार में उन्होंने कुछ जोड़ा होगा और या घटाया होगा. वही हम भी सोच रहे हैं, क्योंकि दिल्ली के बारे में सोचते हैं तो हमें एक अंदर से फीलिंग आती है कि दिल्ली महिलाओं के लिए एक बहुत सुरक्षित शहरों में से नहीं है. सो वी हैव टू कंसीडर दैट. बट और क्या क्या एस्पेक्ट हैं, रात को 12 बजे क्या होगा, शिफ्ट में क्या होगा, अकेली लड़की अगर ड्राइव करते हुए जा रही होगी, 4 लड़कियां बैठ के जा रही हैं तो क्या होगा, ये सारे कॉम्बिनेशंस हैं जिन पे अभी हम लोग खूब डिस्कशंस करें. आई एम गुड कि आई एम हैप्पी कि आप भी एक प्रोग्राम कर रहे हैं. हो सकता है इसमें से जो इनपुट्स आएंगे वो भी हमें अल्टीमेटली एक्सेप्शन कितना होगा कितना नहीं होगा उसके लिए इनपुट देंगे
जी.
तो ये सारे इनपुट लेके अल्टीमेटली वील डिसाइड ए पॉलिसी कि पहली बार ये पॉलिसी करेंगे और उसमें हम फ्लैग करेंगे कि ये वाली चीज तो हम स्पेशली वॉच रखेंगे कि इसको अगली बार जब महीने बर्बाद
So it's a conversation in
It's a
progress with the
conversation,
people of Delhi and in fact with the people of India, because other cities too could follow this. Sambit Patra, but what it needs is the cooperation of the police, which in the strange power arrangement of Delhi is under actually the center. Right now, Arvind Kejriwal has met with Rajnath Singh, some progress has been made. But you know, the flashpoints between your two parties is a cause of concern. Because even today we've seen, for example, a jhuggi of 500 people, poor people, has been demolished by the railway police. वहाँ पे वो कहते हैं एक बच्चा मारा गया, railway police कहती है the child was killed, the child died before. Why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up because we do not want pollution to be politicized. आपके बाकी लोगों के बाकी जो झगड़े हैं वो ठीक है, but this is a matter of life and death. Are you going to cooperate with Manish's government, or are we going to see the kind of politics we have seen or the flashpoints we have seen over the demolition of these jhuggies and the poor people who live there?
Now I'll come to the demolition and I will correct you on that point as well. But the issue today is about pollution. As I rightly pointed out, pollution should never be politicized.
So will you cooperate?
Just a second, ma'am. And we have been talking about this, that we should never politicize pollution right from the very beginning.
Do you support this too?
Allow me to complete for a few seconds and thereafter you can interject. I in fact support what Manish said right in the very beginning, that these are drastic times, these are war times, and we have to fight against pollution. And in this, we should not bring in which party we belong to. The war against pollution is not his war or my war. It is our war. It is the war of we the people of India. We have to stand against pollution, and that's what we all are dedicated towards. As far as this debate is concerned, I mean, we have been debating this issue since last 10 days. That's because we're a democratic setup. We are giving all kinds of suggestions that are possible. Some suggestions would be picked up, some suggestions would not be.
But the BJP did start, Sambit, correct me if I'm wrong, by saying this is not practical.
No. I was the first person, I'll tell you, I was the first person to participate in one of the first debates on this issue. The date was announced on your channel with Ravish on a Hindi medium. And I wholeheartedly accepted this, saying that, well, yes, these are the few suggestions which I make, and I'm thankful they accepted those suggestions. I was the first one to say, picking up from Paris and from Beijing, that disabled and diseased are the ones who are given the exemption, because a disabled person, a diseased person cannot see an odd number car or even number car.
Manish, are you convinced that the police hai, which is under the Home Ministry, it will
No, as far as the police is concerned, I just want to make a quick point. The point that we have been making from the very beginning, and I think the police made today, is certain things have to be thought academically. For instance, the Motor Vehicle Act does not have in India a provision where the police can in fact charge the people who are caught offending this whole system. So should we not amend the Motor Vehicle Act, or what other means they have thought of? In fact, that should come to the fore.
Manish, what will happen if कोई violate करता है तो क्या होगा?
देखिए, as a team, पुलिस के पास भी of course, क्योंकि वो cops हैं, काम करते हैं सड़क पे, उनके पास बहुत सारे inputs हैं, we are taking those inputs. ये जो idea आज discuss हो रहा है, वो 4 दिन पहले जो पुलिस के ऑफिसर हैं उनके साथ में डिस्कस हुआ था, और कितना फाइन हो सकता है, कितना लॉ अलाउ करता है, कितना चाहिए, डिटरेंस कितना होगा, ये सारी चीजें बहुत वाइडली डिस्कस हो रही हैं. मेरा सिर्फ इतना कहना है कि पुलिस इज एन एग्जीक्यूटिव. वी आर इन ए डेमोक्रेसी. एक चुनी हुई सरकार दिल्ली में बैठी है, एक चुनी हुई सरकार केंद्र में बैठी है, 2 चुनी हुई सरकारें अलग अलग पार्टियों से भी हों, लेकिन जब सहमति बन रही है तो पुलिस का काम सिर्फ एग्जीक्यूट करना है. तो पुलिस शुड एग्जीक्यूट.
एंड आर यू होपफुल दैट यू अदरवाइज द
आई होप, बिकॉज़ मैं खुद गया था जब होम मिनिस्टर साहब से मीटिंग हुई थी, एंड ही वाज आल्सो क्वाइट मतलब होपफुल कि इसको करना चाहिए. नितिन गडकरी जी से मीटिंग हुई, वो सेंटर में ट्रांसपोर्ट का काम देखते हैं, वो भी बहुत एक्साइटेड है इस आइडिया को लेके. तो जिस तरह से सेंट्रल लीडरशिप और स्टेट की लीडरशिप एक्साइटेड है, आई होप कि फिर पुलिस तो मतलब पुलिस इज एन एग्जीक्यूटिव.
So both of you are sounding hopeful for once you're not actually going to
20 seconds on a very important issue.
I really have to move
yes,
on.
Yes, 20 seconds and thereafter. See, as far as the police is concerned, since I'm a doctor myself, I've studied a lot, I've operated. I feel I've seen at times, and you would all agree, that when we pass through these congested junctures, what we see is policemen trying their best from morning till evening, try to manage it, and you would see they have turned black. The white dress that they wear, they turn black. They are wearing masks. उनके भी बच्चे हैं. उनको हम लोग हमेशा विलनाइज नहीं करें, बहुत मेहनत करते हैं, और मुझे लगता है एक ताली हम उस पुलिस के लिए भी मारे जो एक देखिए वो भी काम कर रहे हैं. हमेशा की वही विलियन है, they are the villains and they would not. No.
Fair enough. The ordinary constable also suffers and pays the price. Now I want to open this up. The Deputy Chief Minister is here to take your questions, but I want to also hear personal experiences. William, you're actually here with your 7-year-old son.
That's right.
John Varun is 7 years old, and William, you actually, along with Sunita, wore at some point a monitor to test the air that you were walking in. Even when you thought you were walking in green sort of areas with lots of trees, you were shocked to find out how bad it was. And how has that impacted you and your son?
So I took an experiment from CSC where I hooked myself up to the monitor for 24 hours, and I went to the park in the morning, and I realized the levels were so high that CSC later told me it was equivalent to smoking a few packs of cigarettes. Now I don't smoke, but I might as well smoke. And after that experiment, I spoke to my son about stopping his soccer. Want to talk about that?
So can you play these days?
Not a lot.
Not a lot?
I only go for my main matches. I don't go for my practice anymore. I've left that for about now 2 weeks. It's over 2 weeks it's become.
Is it difficult to breathe?
It's not difficult to breathe, but after every soccer match, I come home coughing or like losing my voice.
that's very important point, and that's why I said it's an emergency. It's a war situation. We have to come together in this.
So John, when you come back coughing, then do you feel like maybe next time I should not play?
I feel, but when the coughing started, which was near November 20th,
Yes.
my lungs felt like my lungs hurt a little bit. They felt not normal. They felt a little like I felt like a little thing biting them. Like I felt it's hurting.
And do you feel scared?
No, it was not hurting that much. Not like
Do other
He
kids,
wants to still play soccer.
do
so-
other kids have the same complaint? Are other kids also going? So did you ever think I'll wear a mask and go out? Did your parents ever tell you that?
I do wear masks and go out, but I
You
don't.
wear a mask and go out?
Yeah.
William, you're sending John out with a mask?
Yeah, sometimes on the very bad days.
So
With
do
a
you
mask.
support this proposal?
Yeah, I think the proposal is a first step. I mean, it's a first step and it has to be done. The right to life in the Constitution is the right to breathe clean air. If you can't breathe air, you don't have life. And if action is not taken, kids are going to really suffer, and they're going to suffer really.
Have you explained this odd even formula to John? John, do you know anything about it?
No.
So let me tell you, what would you think if people said that let's reduce the number of cars on the streets of Delhi so that pollution reduces? Do you think that would be a good idea? Do you think it's okay to go in a carpool or maybe use the metro or go with your friends in the same car instead of everybody taking different cars?
That's a good idea.
It's a good idea?
Yeah.
Well, I think you've got the endorsement.
You have one supporter.
You have one
Thank you so
supporter.
much. Thanks, William.
Okay, Sunita, what are some of the concerns that you want to flag to Manish before I open it up to the other panelists?
No, I think Manish is very well aware of it. His government has taken this move. It's a very bold move, and I really do congratulate the AAP government. I think it will do two things, Barkha, and I think that's what I believe Manish's government has done this, keeping that in mind. One, I think very clearly, Manish, and it's a challenge of governance.
Yeah.
And that's a test of any elected government, is to also govern. And I think for you, that for the AAP government, and we would definitely like to see it implemented and implemented well.
But
So I think-
elaborate on what you said in the beginning. You don't want this restricted to cars only. And there is a perception, and this is where I want the politicians to come in, that politicians will move more slowly against classes they perceive to be, let me just complete my question, not so well off. So they will assume that the two-wheeler riding class or the motorcycle riding class is not so well off and therefore may not, Manish ne abhi tak bataya nahi include honge ya nahi, but may not include them.
No, but I think the more vocal, articulate resistance to any such idea comes from the car holding class in our society, which also has the attention of English-speaking
Yes.
media,
Yes.
which is able to bang an idea like BRT and not even let it happen because it is inconveniencing them. So, Barkha, let's be very clear that, it is, and as you very clearly said, it's 10% of Delhi which drives in a car, but it is responsible for 90% of taking up the road space of Delhi. Large amount of cars are diesel cars, which we need to stop, and we have two-wheelers, which, the point is that if you have this with too many exceptions, and Manish is well aware of it, जिसकी गाड़ी है, अगर गाड़ी आपने बंद करी तो वो टू व्हीलर ले लेंगे, अगर टू व्हीलर लेंगे तो प्रदूषण उतना ही बढ़ेगा. आप अगर गाड़ी बंद करेंगे और ये कहेंगे कि डीजल चला लो तो डीजल चलेगा. You need 15 days of serious implementation so that we in Delhi also know whether it actually makes a difference.
Manish, one of the things that's come up, and then I want to go to Dr. Bagai, one of the things that has come up is कि जो अमीर लोग हैं ना, वो एक दूसरी गाड़ी खरीद लेंगे.
नहीं,
ये एक मिनट, ये हो सकता है.
15 दिन के लिए अगर बहुत अमीर होगा, पागल होगा.
No, if they think it'll go on beyond 15 days, वो एक और गाड़ी ले लेंगे. One minute. What are you?
Manish has already clarified that it doesn't go beyond 15 days. So I'm totally.
No, but it could come back in 15 days with changes in a more
maybe
permanent form.
another spell of 15 days, maybe another spell of
Yes.
10 or 1 month, whatever.
It's an emergency.
मेरा सिर्फ इतना कहना है कि इसको जैसे प्रधानमंत्री जी ने एक शुरुआत की थी स्वच्छ भारत की. It's needed. No political party, no person sitting in any political party can say नहीं जी मुझे स्वच्छता नहीं चाहिए. Same here.
Yeah.
So it's a all effort, and I appreciate that. इसमें पॉलिटिक्स की जगह मुझे लगता है पॉलिटिकल कितना हम डेयर कर पाएंगे नहीं कर पाएंगे, उससे ज्यादा मैथमेटिक्स कितना हमारे फेवर में है। आज की तारीख में जितने नंबर ऑफ बाइकर्स हैं, उन सबको, उनके आधे बाइकर्स अगर आज बस में और मेट्रो में जाने लगे, ऑफ कोर्स वो तुरंत बस का सिस्टम, मेट्रो का सिस्टम कोलैप्स कर जाएगा। इसलिए एक थॉट जो अभी मैं यहाँ मेरे लिए डिसीजन लेना ठीक नहीं है, बिकॉज सिटिंग हियर आई कैन डिसाइड, एक मीटिंग में तय होगा कितने एक्सेप्शंस होंगे और कितने नहीं होंगे। बट ये कैलकुलेशन सामने आ रही है कि अगर फर्स्ट फेज में जब हम ट्रायल कर रहे हैं, कार से शुरू करते हैं, फिर मे बी अनदर स्टेप बाइक भी कर सकते हैं, कल को कमर्शियल व्हीकल्स भी आ सकते हैं।
Okay, now I just want to take this to Dr. Bagai, and then I'm seeing lots of questions going up, lots of other parents also who are here with their children. Just 1 second. Dr. Bagai, you're a pediatrician. You are treating children who are suffering from respiratory disorders all the time. You heard little John Varun here. You know, my lungs are hurting. I'm wearing a mask. How common is this becoming in Delhi, sir?
I think if you see a trend of overall pollution related direct and indirect related diseases, it's almost climbed up by 50, 60, 70% just in the last 2 years. That's a no-brainer. There were certain foreign clientele which used to come to our clinics and to the hospitals 5 years back, and they used to wear masks. Now almost every patient is wearing a mask when they come out in the evening hours to private clinics.
The adults or the children?
Adults and children. Now, it not only is the respiratory, and what we tend to forget is that this is affecting small kids neurologically, psychologically. These same kids after 10 years are going to develop hypertension and cardiovascular diseases. It involves the endocrine system, it involves the growth.
So it's not just asthma or gasping for breath?
It's not just asthma, and people tend just to focus on respiratory, but I want to highlight that 80% of a child's growth potential is achieved before the second birthday. We are going to have a stunted and a demented population after 20 years if this situation goes on.
That dire. You are saying these words responsibly.
With great amount of responsibility. Yeah. But I want to make one point. A bad beginning, Manish, is very often a disastrous beginning and a disastrous end.
That I agree.
There are 5 P's and there are 3 S's, at least in my philosophy. Proper planning prevents poor performance. And whatever you do has to be sensible economically, it has to be sustainable, and it has to be scalable, which in my limited view, however knowledgeable or non-knowledgeable I may be, I don't find the exact details now, and the devil of the full dealing is in the details. If we do it just for a limited population of cars and just for 15 days, maybe a bad beginning will not give us a good end.
So what are you concerned about right now? I'll get Manish and Sambit to answer that, but what are you specifically concerned about, Dr. Bagai? Because your words are very, very dire, that we are actually looking at a potentially stunted population 20 years down the line. What could be a bad beginning right now?
What we are doing now is bad beginning.
Why?
I'll tell you 3 basic reasons.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm just speaking the truth.
No, please go ahead.
I'm all for a change, but I'm a doctor and I'm a sensible tax-paying citizen. Just to implement it for 15 days with no proper homework done to have the infrastructure in place and then already implementing it is wrong, my view. I'm not saying that this winter will be the best winter, but plan for the next winter and the winter after next to subsequently keep improving.
But don't we need a start somewhere?
I'm coming to it. Your greatest criminals for pollution in Delhi are the two-wheelers because they're 2-stroke engines. I'm not going into the technology. I've read on it. I know about it. It's a different combustion system which is actually polluting us much more than even diesel cars. That's my first point. You have declared war and you don't have soldiers on the ground. Who's going to fight your war?
Okay, let him answer.
There are major accidents on the road and the police are caught napping. I'm all for the police force, but we don't have enough personnel on the ground. Who's going to monitor it?
But can I put a counter
just 5 seconds.
Should perfect be the enemy of good? I can see lots of practical problems here, yes, but should perfect be enemy of good?
No, I'll just take 5 seconds. The important point is to have a law which is implementable, which is sustainable. I'm all for a change. You give me good public transport like Paris has, like Tokyo has, like London has, like New York has, I'll use it. It's cheaper for me to use it. Why will I not use it? But if I don't have it and if you're curtailing me, and also I don't have a right to choose my number. You give me a right to choose my number.
No, why odd and even equalize? You mean that you want to come in this?
One day.
But Dr. Bagai जो कह रहे हैं बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं, but that's the point also where I will support Manish on this. The fact is we have an emergency situation, Dr. Bagai. We know that vehicles are responsible in winter about 60% of the pollution that we have in the city. of the vehicle classes that we have, we know there are three major culprits. We have trucks that are coming in from outside Delhi, where we have now put a congestion tax. We need to do much more to try and bring their numbers down. We then have private cars both in Delhi and coming in from outside Delhi.
Yeah.
We have no connectivity between Faridabad, Ghaziabad, Noida, etc.
Except for
Huge issues, okay? And then we have two-wheelers. Now, given that situation, I think all cities of the world, and you're absolutely right, the long-term answer is public transport. But as Manish has said, you can't get public transport done right now.
You can't wait
so
for it.
My
Yes.
own sense is what Manish is, only thing Manish from Dr. Bagai's point that I agree, is that you have to get it right.
Okay, Manish and Sambit, quick responses on this two-wheelers point. It's a very, very important point that, you know, that is there a kind of political correctness कि गाड़ियों के पीछे आप जा रहे हैं, लेकिन जो two-wheelers हैं उनको आप exempt कर रहे हैं?
मुझे लगता है कि सबको शामिल करना पड़ेगा एट सम पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम, बट क्या वो हम आज करें या अगले ट्रायल पे करें, मतलब अगले स्टेप के रूप में करें. ट्रायल इज नॉट द राइट वर्ड, बिकॉज तब तक और 3000 बसेस आने की हम बात कर रहे हैं. होपफुली वो दिल्ली में आ जाएं और एक बार लोगों को अच्छा भी लगे कि अच्छा चलो कार पूलिंग भी अच्छा आइडिया है, तो कुछ और सॉल्यूशंस तब, बिकॉज सॉल्यूशन और प्रॉब्लम साथ साथ लेके चलना पड़ेगा. यू कांट कीप कि अभी जब तक वो पहली वाली सारी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व नहीं हो जाती, दिल्ली का पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट सिस्टम सिंगापुर या बाकी शहरों की तरह परफेक्ट नहीं हो जाता, तब तक आप ऐसा कोई ड्राइव मत शुरू करो जिससे कि थोड़ा बहुत अनकंफर्टेबल लगे. मुझे लगता है इट्स ए चॉइस ऑन अस. इट्स ए चॉइस.
Exemptions पे फैसला कब होगा?
Of course, within a week we should do it.
Sambit, you wanted to come in there, yeah.
See, this is a great idea. Hats off to the idea, but I would say that declaration should have come after complete preparation. What has happened in this case is the declaration has been made, the preparation has yet not been announced.
Manish, that would have
just a second. I totally agree with Manish on few counts that, well, yes, these are drastic measures which has to be taken because it's an emergency situation.
Manish, I want you to succeed.
Sir, let me complete.
Thank you.
Yes, we all want it to succeed, and we are with you.
But I want you to
it's
succeed.
our problem.
But shouldn't we try? It's 15 days out of
try
our life.
seriously.
We are acting like it's the end of the world.
But
It's
try
15 days out of our life.
नहीं बरखा, try seriously.
Even if it goes wrong, we
नहीं
can
बरखा,
improve on it.
बरखा,
in fact,
it's too
it is
important
not
for
even
this
15
city.
days.
Try it
Just a second.
seriously.
It's not
Don't
even 15
try
days.
it half-heartedly.
Of
देखिए
course.
देखिए मेरा इतना कहना है कि अगर कारों की संख्या सड़क पे कम होती है तो ऑफ कोर्स बाइक का जो टाइम स्पेंड ऑन बाइक है सड़क पे वो भी कम होता है. तो कहीं ना कहीं कारों की संख्या कम करने से अगर ट्रैफिक कंजेशन कम हो रहा है तो कहीं ना कहीं हम बाइक का पॉल्यूशन जो अभी सारी की सारी बाइक्स मिलकर प्रोड्यूस कर रही हैं उसको भी शायद रिड्यूस करने में शामिल हों.
Okay, I'll let Sambit complete his point. and then
Two
I will
quick
go to
points.
the-
As far as the bike is concerned, well, yes, I believe that though they are the major contributors, as pointed out by Sunita, but I would still say that it would be too premature to bring them in because of the very fact that, look, even if we are going to remove the buses, I mean the cars for a while, there would be chaos, but there would be order in chaos because, okay, some amount of management would be done. But if we remove the bike also without the infrastructure that needs to support the whole thing, there would be chaos in chaos, and that I think we could not manage. And secondly, a very important point which I leave the House to ponder upon is why these discussions are important, though with the caveat that what Barkha is saying is right, that it is just 15 days, not even 15 days,
Let's
6
give it
days.
a start.
6 days.
Yeah.
It's 6 days because we have either even or odd, so it's going to be 6 or 7 days.
Yeah.
But it's very important with this point. I've always talked of the day one, the last mile connectivity for a woman is absolutely important. Supposedly, horrifyingly, if something goes wrong and we have a single woman molested, horrifyingly.
As
if a
if
single
single women don't get
Come on,
molested on other days, yeah.
just a second, let me complete. I'm not
Don't
saying you should
make-
no.
don't make
That's why
poor
no.
women-
Us as an
Don't
excuse.
use
Anyone.
poor
Don't use
women
women as an
as
excuse.
an
No,
excuse
I'm not using
not
that.
to do
I am-
anything.
no,
I am for the
Come on,
exemption
yaar.
for women as
Women
well.
के लिए
I am
जाना
not
है।
for the exemption.
No, I am for exemption for women. I am for exemption for women. I don't know. We may differ, but we are having
Okay,
a
there can be a
just
discussion
Barkha,
on
let me
women.
complete.
Yeah,
Let me
okay,
complete.
I need
We
to
are having
hear
a civil
this.
debate.
Okay.
We are giving our opinions. We are all we have the right to our opinion. I believe there should be exemption for the woman because let this last mile connectivity be sorted
Okay,
out.
can we hold that thought?
Can we
I just
just-
want to go to the others because some have not even spoken. Saurabh Hasseen's a corporate lawyer. You actually came back to India after a stint abroad to practice law here. But you then decided that your wife and your daughter would go back to London. Is that correct, Saurabh?
Yeah, they're in London.
And your daughter was 15 months old when actually you petitioned the Supreme Court on her behalf, making her the youngest petitioner in court on air pollution. How does it feel to live apart from your family, and what made you take the drastic decision to actually send Zoya and her mother to another country?
So, I mean, living away from the kids and the wife is obviously very difficult. And, I mean, the decision in them moving back to London, in a sense, was primarily driven by the air quality.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Zoya is our second kid, and we have a 5-year-old, similar situation. We should have brought that petition 5 years ago. We just didn't know how bad the situation was.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't find out how bad it was till about 2.5 years ago, where friends of mine actually moved out of the city, went to Goa, currently live there. And, you know, we've been trying to see if the government would take any decisions. Nobody ever did anything. We finally had to take this step because Diwali is around the corner, and then the wedding season, and we know how bad it gets in that stuff. And so we took the decision to go to the Supreme Court and get it, try and get a ban. Obviously, there are also issues with banning firecrackers, and
so at
there's
the
a
moment
plan.
you live separately from your kids.
Yes, but I mean, I go to London as often as I can to see them.
So
but
what
it's
do you
not
think
easy.
of this proposal?
So I mean, look, from everything that I've heard, I think the proposal is a start, right? I think, Manish ji, for this thing to succeed, you need the full support of Delhi. Okay.
Yeah.
It seems like that the Delhi government, working with the centre, may not be able to pull this off themselves. I honestly think that I hope that it succeeds.
I too hope.
Because I don't want kids playing outside with face masks. It's a scary sight to see, frankly. So my hope is it succeeds, but frankly, it needs the people of Delhi to make this happen.
It actually needs all of us. We're transferring our responsibility onto the government completely. Reena, how many of us are willing to carpool? Like, let's just take something simple. Arvind Kejriwal said to me recently that, and I'm just reconfirming this, that आपके सरकार में जो लोग हैं, will you carpool now?
Definitely, because देखिए अरविंद जी जहाँ रहते हैं वहाँ हमारे और 1-2 मंत्री भी रहते हैं, तो वो उनके साथ जाएंगे. बिकॉज मैं जिस इलाके में रहता हूँ मेरा कोई मंत्री नहीं रहता है, मेरे बाजू में जजेस रहते हैं. तो आई थॉट आई वाज डिस्कसिंग विद माय फैमिली एंड वी थॉट आई हैव अ साइकिल एट होम. So one day I can go take my car, and one day I can take my cycle to office, and I can do that.
So,
okay, Reena, how many of us, I sort of, I'm not being provocative when I say this, but is the grumbling only from the elites?
So I think
6 days of our life, we can't take a taxi, we can't carpool, we can't take the metro. I mean, what are we saying? We love to crib, but we want to do nothing about it.
so. We are the cause of this. I mean, this is not you are not the cause. We all are the cause of it. So I think what I would like to do is to do something by making it my own life's simple responsibility. I will try to carpool, and I have been wanting to cycle for a long time to work. I think this is the time. I will experiment
But we need cycling tracks,
and I will get on
That
I can do.
Can I just say, Sumita knows about cycling more than anyone else. And we are
Saurabh and
thankful
then
to have
William, and
her
then I
here.
want to take questions
So
from
we
the
are very
audience.
famous for this Delhi jugaad of ours, right? And you talk about all this stuff about people buying second cars and what have you. I think we have to have faith in the people of the city to use jugaad to make this thing happen. Because unless we do that, this is not going to succeed. So we need that Delhi jugaad to work for it, actually.
Yeah, William, John sitting next to you, he says he goes out with a mask now. How does that make you feel as a parent?
Terrible.
Yeah, it's just horrible.
I think the rich can afford to pay. I think in Singapore, I have friends who live in Singapore, they pay a huge amount to own a car. Owning a car in Singapore is the ultimate luxury.
Yeah.
Many families share one car between 3 families because you have to pay about 1.2 crores to get a license plate. You cannot buy a car in Singapore until you buy the license plate. The 1.2 crores you pay the government of Singapore goes to fund the best public transport system in the world. I think the rich should be made to pay for it. If you want to drive your car, then you pay for it.
But the problem in India is the rich are so rich they will just pay for it.
Well, here's the thing. If you use that
it's
money,
true.
but Barkha, if you use that money, if you use it wisely, you can make public transport systems the best and the cheapest in the world. You can give air-conditioned buses to everybody in the city. The amount of money that the government of Delhi will earn from levies on the rich, if they drive their private cars.
So you're saying higher taxes for the rich, higher parking rates, higher...
Absolutely.
But I'm just wondering if there's too much money floating around in the city. Dr. Bhai, give me half a second. Here's another parent with her daughter, and I'm seeing you're carrying... How many people here today have come holding masks? I saw a couple of other people. Please just raise your hand if you're here with masks. And I'm seeing at least 3, 4, 5 people here. 2 masks, one for yourself, one for your daughter?
Yeah, but for me, I can still try to. I mean, it's very tough to live with this. I mean, if I'm alone with my bicycle, it's okay. I can do it, but with friends or talking, drinking, all those.
And you send her out with the mask?
And she can't. I mean, she's too small. From like I think 0 to 5, 6. I bought that, but she doesn't want to wear it. I mean, 5 minutes maybe, and that's.
Do you know what this is?
It's like either way punishment for her,
Yes.
with or without.
I mean, it's just.
Do you know what this is? What do you think it is?
You have to speak Hindi without.
ये क्या है?
But anyway, it's just. I mean, we had done like a picnic with friends today, and we were all with this mask. But
You went on a picnic with masks?
all of us, but it's not possible to discuss and to eat a sandwich with a mask. So it's like.
So this is a statement also you're making. Tell us about your group.
We have decided for like three other friends that we had to do something and we had to start. And I feel also really sorry to hear all this like middle class thing that we can't do anything. We are polluting, but okay, let's start something. I mean,
Let's start somewhere.
We have to believe that
Yeah.
we can do, and it's.
Okay, John, do you know many kids who come with these masks?
No, like only 2 or 3.
And when you wear it, do you feel strange? Like, do you wish you could go without it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
You keep taking it out. You keep
Putting it back.
Yeah, it's like it's annoying.
It is.
It's annoying.
All right, let's take a poll here. Those of you who actually believe it's not a perfect proposal, but it's a good start. Good start. Raise your hand and let's keep those hands up for our cameras to catch. And I actually think, Manish and Sambit, the overwhelming, and I'm glad to see both politicians' hands going up. Everybody here says it's a good start, including Dr. Bagai, the cynic in the audience. Dr. Bagai, I'll allow you to flag some concerns. I'll allow you to flag some concerns, and I'm taking questions then. Yes. Go ahead.
I just have one suggestion to make. It's good to have this implemented. I don't want you to be bowled out in the first over. I want you to win. I want you to succeed. Pay a little attention to Delhi roads.
Yes.
60% of suspended particulate matter is dust. It's because of unnecessary, ill-planned digging of the roads which are never refilled ever again. Take my word for it. This is the major contribution to pollution apart from vehicles. If you're talking of a cycle lane, there are no space for people to walk on the pavements. They are eaten away by encroached vendors. There is mafia as far as parking is concerned. Pay attention towards multi-level car parking. These are very, very important points. So I'll just spend a minute on this. Like I said, if you plan properly and plan long term, you'll succeed.
Can I get Sunita? I want Sunita to come in on that. You comment? Okay. Briefly.
I have no problem that you have this in experimentation for 15 days.
But इसको आगे बढ़ाओ.
But
As I said in the beginning,
but Manish, but a bad experiment with poor results will be a defeat for you and the movement which you have started.
देखिए, अगर सिर्फ ऑड इवन फॉर्मूला से ही हम सोच रहे होते पॉल्यूशन कम हो जाएगा तो फिर तो मुझे लगता है फिर हम लोग बहुत, लेकिन एक टोटलिटी में देखें जितनी चीजें आप कह रहे हैं, रोड से लेके और कंस्ट्रक्शन बिजनेस से लेके, मैंने कहा लीफ बर्निंग, ये सारी चीजों पर एक साथ गवर्नमेंट काम कर रही है. बट क्योंकि इत्तेफाक से ऑड इवन फॉर्मूला एक बहुत सेंसिटिव इशू बन गया और एवरीबडी इज टॉकिंग अबाउट दैट, so these things are not being talked about like that, like other.
But one of the things we haven't spoken about is the NGT order on diesel cars. We have not spoken about it at all. How many of you here have diesel cars? Please, if in the interest of honesty, Dr. Bagai, you have a diesel car, and there's this order that's just come: no new diesel cars to be registered. I'm actually seeing this family here, 2 kids here who are actually also suffering from respiratory disorders. Tell us about your daughter. She wants to be a singer, I believe, one of them.
She actually likes to run, and she actually wants to say something.
She wants to say something? Yeah, what do you want to say?
So, how many, some of the people also burn some crackers, and we should also do a carpool where we are also going to school, and some of the people can go in a car.
Yes.
Together.
So carpool and no to crackers. But I did see you raise your hand that you have a diesel car. How do you see this crackdown on diesel cars?
So, Barkha, for us, the clear, I work in Haridwar also, we have a facility there. So I used to travel to Haridwar, and that's the reason why we picked up the car. But the rest of our cars are petrol, and I think it's a good idea. Diesel cars are being banned. It's something people who can afford cars can easily manage with. So it's
you're okay with
yeah,
it?
absolutely, absolutely.
You're okay with it?
इंडिया में डीजल कार एक बहुत बड़ा मुझे लगता है कई बार की बड़ी कॉन्स्पिरेसी जैसा हो गया है, बिकॉज डीजल पर सब्सिडी देना किसानों के लिए किसी समय लिया गया फैसला था कि गांव देहात में जो लोग खेती करते हैं उनको डीजल चाहिए सिंचाई के लिए, उन सब के लिए उस पर सब्सिडी देते हैं, लेकिन इत्तेफाक से उसका फायदा सबसे ज्यादा कार मार्केट ने उठाया। कारें महंगी कर दी क्योंकि डीजल की कार 5 लाख रुपए एक्स्ट्रा में खरीद के आप चला सकते हो, साल भर में उतना पैसा आपको डीजल से उससे ज्यादा बच जाएगा। सो दैट वाज अ वेरी बैड फार्मूला समटाइम डिजाइन, एंड डीजल एज सुनीता मस्ट बी द बेस्ट पर्सन टू टॉक अबाउट कि कितना पॉल्यूशन कर रहा है, तो उस पर हमें कभी ना कभी डिसीजन लेना पड़ेगा। बट एनजीटी के इस ऑर्डर को हमने एकदम कहा कि वी सपोर्ट इट,
यू सपोर्ट इट,
बट सिर्फ दिल्ली में अगर हम बैन करके सोचे तो गुड़गांव और नोएडा से खरीद के जब डीजल में कार आ रही होगी तो उसका हम क्या करेंगे?
And that's one of the dilemmas you're also facing. What are you going to do with cars coming from the NCR area? Okay, no, I'm on limited time. I'm going to allow everybody to put one quick question to Manish and maybe Sambit. Sambit, we'll end with you. We'll start with the others. Quick question, sir.
So yeah, so my question, I think we've sort of not dealt with the elephant in the room, is why are we not bringing in Bharat Emission Norms 5 and 6, which significantly reduce this? Why are we waiting to 2023 to make this happen?
Sunita? He can't do anything about that. That is the central government.
That's what I'm saying. I'm putting it.
So it's not to
that. Mr. Gadkari has already held a press conference to that effect that he wants that even the Euro 5 should be done away with, and directly we should move to Euro 6.
Sambit, let me be very clear about this. I think the central government is completely wrong in delaying the advancement of Euro 4 across India. Be very clear what we first want Euro 4. Euro 5, Euro 6 comes after that. Yeah. But we do not have Euro 4 across India. Now that means the trucks that are coming in from outside NCR area, bringing in dirty fuel. Yeah. It's an easy solution. It can be done. But this is where the diesel lobby is powerful. The truck lobby in India, which is Tata, Eicher, Mahindra, and Leyland, and I'm naming them, and I'm completely going to shame them on that. They refuse. They do not have Sambit. I know this
quick
well.
Response. I've got just a few minutes left on the show.
First, as far as this particular question is concerned, I mean, I'm reminded of the fact that Mr. Gadkari even wrote letters to the diesel companies saying that please manufacture your cars, do away with the diesel issue. No, please, just a second, let me complete. We wrote to this so-called lobby that please do away with this diesel cars and let's have the modern hybrid variety cars where you have other fuel, I mean the modern fuels rather than diesel, and that's there, it's on record. Secondly, I want to ask Manish a question since you have only a few minutes. This is where politics and pollution come together, and Manish has to answer this. There is a place in Delhi called as Rangapuri. It is supposed to be an afforestation area where you're supposed to plant trees. Trees were planted by the previous government. Now trees have been brought down just because some amount of settlement has to be made there, I mean the slums have to be built. Do you believe that cutting down trees on such a mass scale would not harm the environment in a way that it should not? And politically, this demolition, settling, despite court orders for political gains, should not that be done away as well?
Well, the demolition that's happened today is a very controversial demolition, Sambit, so we don't know.
Not at all. If you want, if you want answer on this demolition also, give me 2 seconds. Since you have raised the question twice, let me tell you, this demolition. No, you brought this topic in. NGT court had asked for this demolition. 12th March was the first date that was given. Could not be complied.
Subject to rehabilitation.
Sir, 30th September was the next date that was given. Could not be complied. And in fact, all these
500 people left without a home in the peak of winter.
Mr. Kejriwal should be answering this.
If they were rich, if they were this class, their homes would never have been demolished. If they were our class, however illegal
I do not know whether we should say do away with the orders of the court. I do not know, but I would still say Mr. Kejriwal should have at least
कांग्रेस के एक लीडर का ओखला में पूरा जमीन पे कब्जा है। हाई कोर्ट ने 3 बार ऑर्डर दिए हैं, कंटेम्प्ट तक इशू किया है। उनकी जल्दी नहीं है उनका घर तोड़ने की, क्योंकि लाइक यू सेड वो शायद पॉलिटिकल क्लास में है, लेकिन इनकी जल्दी है क्योंकि ये गरीब लोग हैं सब। और एनजीटी का ऑर्डर साफ साफ कहता है कि इनको रिहेबिलिटेट करोगे, रिहेबिलिटेशन के प्लान बनाए बिना आप उनको उजाड़ दोगे, ये तो ठीक नहीं है।
I want to, if you have a few seconds, I want to end this program just making a plea to Manish.
Yes.
Manish, very bold step by your government. We all have supported it. We need now a successful implementation. You need to make this work, Manish. No half-hearted we're going to try it. नहीं होगा तो क्या होगा? नहीं होगा तो मरेंगे. So you have to make it work.
Okay, Manish, before you conclude, very quickly to...
Barka, the thing is that...
You're here with a mask, I see.
Yes, I'm here with a mask. I was at the picnic with the mask.
What is this picnic with masks?
So we started this small movement to have like a silent protest. You know, we have little banners there, etc. as well. But I want to make some very important point here. That is the fact that 30 or 40 most polluted cities in the world, out of the top 100 polluted cities in the world, are in India. So this is not just a Delhi emergency, this is a national emergency.
Yeah, and we have to...
like a cell from the central and the state government to be put together, especially to take care of this, having a 5-year plan,
and it has to be treated as a national emergency, as you're saying. All right, quick couple of last questions and then we'll take concluding remarks from our politicians. You run a carpool service, yes?
Yeah, so I run a carpool service. That's India's largest carpooling company. So just a suggestion, so we as Indians, we are very, we always work towards result. We are not a rewarding society. If we reward people for carpooling, I think you don't have to need an infrastructure or any kind of exceptions and all those things.
So you're saying incentivize it in a way. So I've heard two things here, and I want Manish to respond to it. Incentivize, penalize, both. Like make the rich pay more. You wanted to say something?
Yes, one thing I wanted to say is that a lot of the population doesn't really know what's going on here, even though it's constantly in the media, in the news, on the newspapers. A lot of people, middle class people, my neighbors, air pollution is there, but they don't know how tough it is. And the other thing is that everybody is suggesting to the government and to the police what they're having to do. The citizens have to actually do something, and they shouldn't talk about that, about odd, even, or whatever is going on. They should just do it, and it should be.
I agree. Last thing here. I believe there's a young girl here who wants to be a singer, and because of the air that's coming in the way, tell us about your daughter.
Yeah, I don't let her go outside to play, because at all.
You don't let your daughter go outside to play at all?
Yes, because she comes back coughing and sneezing, and then next day she goes to the doctor, and she wants to become a singer. She's learning classical music.
What do you want to say? How do you feel about not going out to play at all?
I think... it's
unfortunate. You feel bad, right?
Yeah, I really feel bad, and it's...
What do you want to dream of? You want to be a singer, right?
Yeah.
And do you have a breathing problem?
Yeah, sometimes at home also. Yeah. So, actually we were staying in some polluted area. Then because of that, we shifted to greenery.
Okay, but she has to be nebulized every night, I believe, yeah? Quite often. So it's really what our kids are going through. Before I give the last word to Manish, John, any last thoughts? Do you know that Delhi, you live in the most polluted city in the world?
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah.
Not a good thing, is it? What do you want to say to all our government people here about the air? See the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, Manish. Say hi, Manish, and tell him your message.
Hi.
Yeah, and tell him what do you want to say to him.
It's not only because of the cars. You should clean up Delhi. It's also because of the
Manish, last word to you. Two proposals. अमीरों को ज़्यादा टैक्स करो और जो कारपूल यूज करते हैं उनको इंसेंटिवाइज करो. 30 seconds on this that I've got to.
बहुत सारे मॉडल्स हैं, बहुत सारे आइडियाज हैं, बट मुझे एक चीज लगती है जो जॉन को मुझे कहनी है और जॉन जैसे हर बच्चे को हम सबको कहनी चाहिए कि वी प्रॉमिस विल गिव यू अ क्लीन सिटी, a pollution free city, and that cannot come. 3 phrases में हम बात करते हैं जब आइडियली बात करते हैं. I support pollution free Delhi. कुछ लोग कहते हैं I stand by pollution free Delhi. इन दोनों से काम नहीं चलेगा. I work for pollution free Delhi. उससे काम चलेगा. Please start working for pollution free Delhi.
So many questions, but do take the warnings also, Manish, from the opposition that you in Delhi, the opposition in the center, the government, and well-meaning experts like Sunita and Dr. Bagai, that this has to be done right. But we're all with you because this is all about us. This is not just the government's duty; it's also the citizens' duty. This is about we the people. Thank you so much. We leave it there.